Hey there guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's John Campea, and this is a special user-submitted question. Now, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, we take live questions, but every once in a while, somebody will send in a tip of like $50 or more, and I like to honor that by not just answering their question on the show, but then also answering their question in their own standalone video. So let's jump right to it. And this one comes to us from an anonymous viewer who writes, DC Comics is going through some drama with rumors of publishing, closing, or being sold. Not a big rumor person, but sales suck. Is it time for comics to go full streaming? Could that save comics and attract new readers? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, comic sales, you know, the state of traditional comic books has been in some jeopardy for a while now, as a lot of comic sales don't do very well, particularly physical ones. We've talked a lot about the state of like comic book shops, actual brick and mortar physical comic book shops out there. And it's a dangerous time. It's a dangerous time for the industry. Now, what the anonymous viewer is mostly referring to is that there were some very unfounded rumors going around that like AT&T was about to kill the DC line, or that Marvel was getting ready to buy DC. Why anybody believed that is completely beyond me. It was debunked officially that was never in play and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, there was kind of a movement at AT&T to kind of maybe try to streamline their business, and maybe part of that was getting rid of DC, but that never got any real footing over there. AT&T is not about to get rid of their DC line. It's just too lucrative. The licensing potential alone is just too high. What they can do with the movie business and all that kind of stuff, it's just too good. And so they're not looking to offload that anytime soon. Now, regarding the whole idea about should they move it to streaming? Well, there's a couple of different things to look at here. Number one, when you go to something like the DC streaming service, you can actually look at the comics and read the comics on your television. You can do that, or on your device, whatever. So that's one thing, but that's just kind of an extension really of the whole move to digital comics. So apps like Comixology, DC and Marvel both have their own apps as well, where instead of having to go to the comic book store and buy a physical comic book, you can actually just lay in bed, hit the button, and then you can actually read. If you got a decent tablet, you can just read the comic. Then I've got to admit, that's how I've bought most of my comics over the last few years. It's just that I think of a comic I want to read, I can just pick up my tablet, hit the button, and read it. And now you can say that damages the brick and mortar comic book shops, and you're kind of right, it does, but it is just the most convenient way for me to do it. And we as consumers, we often look for the most convenient way to get the product we want to consume. And when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Like if you're talking about being a comic book distributor, you can charge almost the same price, sometimes just as much as you do for a physical comic book, except you don't need to print it. You don't need the paper. You don't need the ink. You don't need the supply chain. You don't need to ship it all over the country. There's huge expenses you save by doing that. It makes the comic book business a little bit more lucrative. Plus, by emphasizing this new form of delivery, it does give you a chance, whether it's on something like the DC streaming service or digital apps, it gives you a better chance of attracting new readers when somebody can just say to their friend, oh, you haven't been reading this? Here, download this app on your phone right now. Yeah, now click that, buy that. It's awesome. And there you've got a new reader. I'm not saying it'll save everything, but it seems a little bit better. So yeah, digital, I mean, I feel guilty saying it, and I know John Schnepp would yell at me for saying it, but digital does kind of seem like the way to go. But there are other opinions on that as well, and they've got some very good arguments, but that's how I feel about it. Anyway, guys, what do you think about that? Do you think streaming comics on things like the DC streaming app or the digital medium is going to be the future comics that could possibly save that stuff? Yes or no? What do you think? Jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. That will do it for me for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.